From the heart of Yerevan to all corners of the world, this is CivilNet's Daily News Digest for Friday, November 15th. I'm Paul Chaderjian.
And I'm Maria Titizian. In today's digest,
students protest what they call a corrupt government.
Plus the real estate deal gone bad, how investors were cheated.
And the rug woven by Armenian orphans, why Americans are up in arms over a decision by the White House.
Later, we take you to the $190 million construction site of a new international school in the resort town of Dilijan.
A country left in tatters. That accusation from ARF Tashnaksuchun's Nigol Aghbalyan Students' Union.
The students protested at a rally in Yerevan yesterday. The rally is part of their campaign called Stop. The students made their way through the capital city and gathered at the government building on Republic Square, where they presented a trophy for the worst government. Organizers say their objective is to stop the government's policies that have resulted in high tuition fees for universities, students, low scholarships, migration, corruption, high transportation fees, injustice, monopolies, and inefficient governance.
Parliament met for a special session today to discuss the mandatory privatized pension plan initiative that will go into effect in January of 2014. Citizens who are opposed to the plan protested outside the National Assembly. As we reported yesterday, a total of 44 members of the 131-seat National Assembly, or more than a third of the legislature, signed on to hold a special session. Many see the reform as potentially detrimental to living a dignified life as a senior citizen. Nearly 8,000 people have already joined a Facebook group campaigning against the implementation of the mandatory pension plan.
Some 200 Yerevan residents who bought apartments in one of two newly constructed buildings have been locked out of their homes before getting a chance to settle in. The frustrated residents stormed into Artsakh Bank yesterday after the bank took ownership of the buildings from the developer, Tonus Construction Company, and locked them out. Tonus built one of the apartment buildings in the Gomidas district, sold the units, and used that building as collateral to build a second apartment building in the Titizian suburb of Yerevan. When Tonus filed for bankruptcy, only 50 residents in the first building had received ownership certificates and were able to move into their new homes. Artsakh Bank took ownership of the 30 other units in the Gomidas building and 150 units in the Titizian building. Frustrated residents have been protesting for the past year but haven't been able to do anything about their situation. Their desperation prompted them to storm the bank yesterday and demand answers. Among them was singer Artur Ispirian. Ispirian told us that residents felt they had no other choice. He informed us that bank officials said that there was nothing they could do. They had to recover their losses following the bankruptcy of Tonus Construction.
Construction continues on an international high school campus in Armenia's resort town of Dilijan in the Tavush Mars. CivilNet crews were in Dilijan this week to see the construction site. When the $190 million compound of classrooms, gym, and dorms opens its doors in the fall, it'll become the newest and 13th campus of the internationally renowned United World Colleges Schools network. The Dilijan school will accept 90 students in the fall from more than 60 countries.
The whole idea of the school is to invite children from over 50 countries to study in Armenia, to learn about Armenian culture, and to get a high-level education which will allow them to continue their education in any university of the world.
10% of the population will be from Armenia, 20% will be from the Armenian diaspora, and the rest of the students will be international. The school's mission and philosophy is to educate students who want to make a positive change in the world, who will be socially active and develop strong leadership skills.
It also will help Armenian children to get to know other cultures and other students and create a big network of alumni that would be linked and feel connected to Armenia in the future.
The Dilijan International School is being funded by Ruben Vartanyan, who is the CEO of the Troika Dialogue Group, a multinational banking, investment, and asset management company. Vartanyan was also behind the Wings of Datev ropeway, which earned the title of the longest ropeway in the world. Vartanyan's new project, the Dilijan School, is being called an unprecedented philanthropic initiative. When at full capacity, the school will be home to 650 students and will have teaching and administrative staff of nearly 120 people.
More than 24 lawmakers in the United States and hundreds of Americans are lobbying the White House to release a rug made by genocide survivors so that it can be displayed at the Smithsonian Castle as part of the launch of a new book titled President Calvin Coolidge and the Armenian Rug. This week on CivilNet, we spoke to Chaderjian, the publisher of the 75-page book which chronicles the story of the young girls who weaved the rug after escaping the genocide and finding themselves in an orphanage in Lebanon. In 1925, as a gesture of thanks to the U.S., the orphans gifted the rug they made to President Calvin Coolidge.
The book was launched on October 20th of this year, the Armenian Culture Foundation, in an effort also to present the rug, to present the story of the rug to the American and Armenian people, which has created a huge interest in the American community, including also the American media, where it has been covered by the Washington Post. I think it was in October 21st issue of the Washington Post, because we also learned in conjunction with the release of the book that the exhibit that was to take place in Washington, D.C. at the Smithsonian Institute was without any explanation suddenly was cancelled, and we as the organizers of this event and the publishers of the book basically were baffled as to why it happened, because in about 2 months in advance we knew that the exhibit was going to take place, and we were all disappointed, but we are still hopeful that someday in the future we will be able to have this rug exhibited so that the people American people and Armenians in America and the world would see the work of the Armenian orphans who put their efforts in this major product, artwork basically, to the American people and the world.
The late president took the rug with him when he left the White House, and later his family donated it back to the White House, where it has been kept in storage. The current controversy over the 12-foot by 18-foot rug began when the White House said it was an inappropriate use of government property for the rug to be displayed at the book launch. The White House also said that the limited public exposure was, quote, not viewed as commensurate with the rug's historical significance. Executive Director of the Armenian National Committee of America, Aram Hamparian, says the decision to pull the rug was a political one, quote, and it caters to the Turkish government's sensitivities about the Armenian genocide, end of quote. So, will the White House release the rug? We'll have to wait and see.
Armenia's Prime Minister says the Republic will submit a new application to the U.S. Millennium Challenges Corporation. The Armenian government and MCC signed a $240 million compact in 2006 designed to reduce rural poverty through sustainable increase in the economic performance of the agricultural sector. The disputed presidential elections of 2008 and the chain of events that followed, including the clampdown on the media and a state of emergency, were considered inconsistent with MCC's principle of promoting democratic governance. Thus, the directors of the corporation decided to cancel the funding for road projects worth about $68 million.
More tragic news coming from the Armenian community in Syria. The prelacy of the Armenian Apostolic Church reported that 5 Armenians were wounded after a rocket attack in an Armenian neighborhood in Aleppo, the largest city in Syria. The names of the wounded are Hagop Davoyan, Harut Bazarbashian, Rafi Perperian, George Kevork, and Dikran Manukyan. They were hospitalized following the attack. Hagop Davoyan is in serious condition, and he has already undergone surgery.
As we reported yesterday, Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev was in Turkey this week on an official visit. The leaders of the two countries signed several agreements and memorandums of understanding to deepen bilateral cooperation in different areas including trade, transportation, technology, and science. During a joint press conference, Turkey's Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan said that they would work to boost trade up from the current 4.2 billion to 15 billion annually by 2020. Among the issues discussed, Erdogan underscored Turkey's continued support of Azerbaijan on the Karabakh issue. At the press conference, Aliyev said that the 21st century will be the century of the Turkic world. The exchange rate is up on your screen as we take a look at the forecast.
It'll be partly cloudy in Yerevan today with a high of 15.
Gyumri is expecting a high of 8 with an overnight low of a chilly -2.
It'll be cloudy also in Stepanakert with a high of 13.
And our travel forecast takes us to the City of Lights, Paris, France, where the temperature calls for partly cloudy skies. Isn't it always partly cloudy in Paris? With a high of 11 degrees Celsius.
Paris is home to a large Armenian community, and maybe you knew, but the last king of Armenia, Levon
Listen to the iconic French chanteuse Edith Piaf singing her famous rendition of No, je ne regrette rien. Did I say that right?
Perfect.
No, je ne regrette rien. I will never regret. What does that mean?
You just confused me.
Did you see La Vie en Rose, the film?
I've been asking my children to download it for me for months, and no, I'm sad to say I have not seen it.
Just for this Friday.
November 15th. We want to hear from you. Our email address is our email address is english@civilnet.am.
Have a great weekend.